All right, good afternoon, guys. So we're going to look at the Dow, it's DJI, money symbol, cash tag, whatever you call it nowadays. All right, so as you can see, this is the last year. Market's been on a big uptrend. I mean, you've had times where it's hit a high and pulled back slightly and reached new highs and pulled back slightly. But if you look at, a 3-year chart here, then you can start seeing like, oh, hey, there really hasn't been much of a market correction going on, considering the first one we had, which is back here, before COVID ever even happened, we had this just normal market correction, and then, the market was reaching new highs. Our country was rocking for all intents and purposes, not to get political here, but it was doing really good before COVID. And then COVID happened, and then everyone realized, hey, COVID really didn't do that much. And then it also shed light on, a lot of new businesses, not necessarily new businesses, but it made previous businesses more relevant. Examples of that is like Zoom and, all the stocks affected by COVID. Anyway, point being, the market has not really seen any correction in like a year. And if you go down, you're looking at the 3-year week chart, and if you look at MACD was super red during that pullback with COVID, and then, obviously crossed over into green, and it's just been rocking ever since. But if you look closely, it's getting less and less and less and less, and it's almost crossing over to red. So it's slowly kind of dying out, but they keep throwing money at us. I mean, we're getting another $1,400 stimulus and yada, 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 and, they extended the unemployment through September, I believe. So, I mean, theoretically, there's a lot of people that have more money than they did before COVID even happened working a traditional job. So that's, pumping a lot of money into the market. So you got all these things going on. You've got people that didn't have money to invest that are investing. You've got, that mind blank here. Sorry for this. I don't really want to make the video again, so I'm just going to roll with it. But, all right, the political changes, that was the big thing. Oh, gosh, I should have got more sleep last night. Anyway, so, the political shift going to the left in this country and, puts an emphasis on things like marijuana legalization, green energy, and, honestly, these technology stocks, too, because if you look at any of the videos that are put out by Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, if you're not familiar with those two people, go research them. I don't know. It's Tesla and Amazon. But, they have a vision of the future, and they're all working towards this vision of the future. And that vision is automated, run by machines and artificial intelligence. So essentially, they're thinking that, they're going to replace a lot of people's jobs. So that's kind of why they're pushing us towards socialism, because they feel like people aren't, we're going to have to give them money because they just simply won't have a job. In the process, they're going to get really freaking rich. I mean, they're already really freaking rich, but they're just going to continue to get richer. So, one could argue that maybe that's what it's all about, but, not to get too much into politics here, just stating facts. I'm not trying to form an opinion either way, just what I'm seeing and what I'm, feeling about the market. Generally speaking, it works out really well for these tech companies. So, I mean, take that or leave it. You can go a lot more detail as far as everything like that goes, but ultimately, I really feel like, they're obviously winning. I mean, look at Amazon, look at all these big companies. They've already got, all the money. They're buy out their competitors. It's crazy what's going on right now in the world. So you got all these changes that are taking place. So it's really hard to determine As far as when the market is going to pull back, I have not really pinpointed exactly when that pullback is going to be. I would just have to say, as far as an educated guess goes, that once the government stops throwing all this free money at everybody, you got to look at, are these companies that are up so much, like, are they even worth it? Like, people are betting long term. So, point being, back to the technicals here, you had this major pullback, and then the market was rocking for a little bit, then you had COVID. So this pullback happened back here, the first one. There was not really anything major going on in the world, like, with this one with COVID. So, and things like that, like, you necessarily couldn't really anticipate COVID. Now, I did realize that it was going to have an effect on the market, and I think I played TVIX back then, which is, I believe, not even, I think they took it down just because of how volatile the whole situation got. But I think TVIX ran from like $100 to $1,000 relatively quickly as the market dropped. So that was an interesting play. My biggest regret this year is just looking at all this comeback here in the market right here. Is I knew when the market was down here that it was recovering, it was going to go up here, but I was too freaking impatient to place these long-term bets. I just didn't like my money sitting when I could be day trading with it. And that, I found, was just a huge mistake. So that's exactly what I don't want to do, for this next year. So really what I'm waiting on in the market is just simply waiting. Like, I'm not even trying to predict when the pullback's going to happen. I'm not trying to short the market and benefit from it pulling back, yada, yada. Once it does pull back and it starts showing signs of recovery, that is when you want to start making these long-term picks. But, on the flip side, you've got, the one you're talking about, QQQ. It's made a pretty decent pullback multiple times, and that could be it for now on this one. But like I said, I really don't know this stock. I don't even know what it is, to be completely honest with you. So I don't really want to give too much of an insight on that. But let's take a look at Walmart. All right, and as you can see, Walmart really didn't have all that much difficulties with COVID. I mean, they probably benefited in a way, along with a lot of companies, especially grocery stores and probably even fast food chains. I mean, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've never seen so many lines for fast food restaurants, like especially during the height of COVID and lockdowns and everything like that. But even now, when restaurants are open, things are open, like people are using the crap out of fast food. And I'm sure it's, staying the same with like things like Zoom and, ordering your groceries and having them delivered and everything like that. Like, people are starting to utilize these services. So like the whole thing is really freaking interesting, because ultimately, Amazon's goal is to be able to know what you need before you need it, and then send a drone to your house, boom, with that item, like, almost instantaneously. And it's just awfully coincidental that COVID kind of helped that along. So I'll let you think about that. But anyways, that's just kind of my take on the market right now.